Okay, so this is going to be light panel number 2 from the screen from that monitor that stopped working properly. I've got a little bit of a problem with it. The problem is it's a very compact unit. Now the two offcuts from the LED lights that I've used for the other panel, amazingly, just happen to be absolutely perfect in length. There's two of them exactly as I needed them. But these connectors are just a few millimeters too thick, just too wide that way. So the height of the panel, I can't, if I install the LED light in there, I can't get this plastic frame on. So I'm going to have to actually cut a little bit out of this plastic frame very carefully, because this is already very flimsy. It's Dremel time. I don't know how you can see that modification that I've had to make so that those connectors fit. So I've got the big panel for the big room. I've got the little panel for the little room. The little panel's much brighter actually, but as a daylight light, I like that kind of daylighty. Okay, figure out a nice way to mount this. So I've been testing out this heater that I got with the seat, and I think I kind of undersold it on the last video. I was saying I was just going to use it for circulating air, but it's surprisingly powerful. All the air comes from below, and with it just on fan, it's really nice cool air, circulates a lot of air. It's really got some power to it. And with the heater on, takes a minute to heat up, but yeah, loads of warm air coming through there. I think I need to do a bit more research on what this is. Okay, so this thing is not actually a standard heater, it's an air curtain. These are the things that they install above the doors to shops, so that there's a curtain of warm air that comes down that you walk through as you go in, keeps the cold air out. That explains why it's so much more powerful than I was expecting. Frico is the manufacturer, and apparently this is quite a high quality industrial unit that's designed to run 24 hours a day for decades. Very reliable, not cheap either. But now that I know what it is and it works so well, I've got to rethink where I'm going to use it. I would love to be able to put it in the shower, but obviously I couldn't. That would mean that using the shower as a drying place for drying wet clothes would be so good. But obviously I can't put this thing inside the shower. Well, what I think I will do is, because this is just on a normal plug, rather than hard wiring this in anywhere, so that if I park up and I have a place where I can plug into mains electricity, 230 volt, I was thinking I would have all the appliances all like hardwired in. But if I keep this one separate, just have some brackets on the wall in the shower and same brackets in the bedroom where I was originally thinking to put this, then on the occasions where I actually need to really dry stuff in the drying cupboard with the shower, I can just hook it on to its hooks, and I'm going to have several 230 volt plug points around, just position them so that I can have this, move this into the shower when I'm drying stuff out. Move it back to its normal place the rest of the time, where it's going to be almost instant heat, and the most important thing, circulating the air.
But meanwhile, the work on the back room continues. Now, these top cupboards that I'm working on now, I'm not going to put doors on them. Everything in this back room, all the cupboards and shelves and things, I'm thinking, at least at this stage, that they're going to be mainly for clothes, bedding and stuff like that. So I'm just going to have the fronts open and use this elastic system that you saw in the last video. But it means you're going to be able to potentially see into the cupboards, so I decided to make use of this shiny, thin aluminium sheet that I've got.
I got these years and years ago from a company I was working for. I was packaging industrial gear parts, and these were gaskets, aluminium gaskets for some kind of machinery, and they were printed wrong. The holes were slightly in the wrong places, so there was a whole load of them going to the bins, and I grabbed them. I've got quite a few, maybe 20 of them, something like that, and I've finally found a place to use them.
Now, for the underside of the cupboard, I needed a piece of something at least 2 meters long. I didn't want to patch it together out of different pieces. But as I said in the last video, funds are low right now. I can't afford to go out and buy more plywood. But the upstairs of my house, the landing, I've been renovating it now for a long time, gradually. And that renovation included putting big hardboard sheets down on the floor to level up the old floor. So I cut this out of one of those sheets because the van is taking precedence over the landing renovations. And time to try a different surface treatment. This thick plastic film, self-adhesive film, is meant for kitchen countertops. This one is black granite, and I thought that it looked like it might work as kind of like a star-filled dark nighttime sky effect. A little bit less shiny would have been good, but overall I'm quite pleased with it. But what about the front of the cupboard? Well, I took the measurements of what I needed, had a look around through all the stuff that I've got, and came across a piece of copper.
So the space there is 24 centimeters tall by 185 centimeters across, and this piece of copper is 185 and a half. centimetres, so I only have to take off half a centimetre. So I haven't talked about the seat in this episode yet. This project is going to have to kind of go on hold because I need this swivel, which is going to go on the bottom of that. and I found a really good quality one online, which is meant for long haul truckers for lorries, and obviously it's quite expensive, so funds are not going to allow me to get that right now because I've been buying a whole load of other stuff. But as soon as funds come in, I will get that. Then I'll know exactly the thickness. I know it's thicker than the cheap ones, and I'll know exactly how much I'm dropping the seat by. It's not going to be much, about 10 cents. I mean, I could drive it now, but I'm a bit close to the steering wheel. So, probably 10 centimeters or so. There's another thing though. I said that the compressor in the seat that inflates it runs on 12 volt, and when it was on the bench and I tried it, it inflated quite quickly. But when I'm sitting on it and I try and inflate it, it takes ages. So I'm more and more convinced that this is a 24 volt compressor. But I don't want to just slap on 24 volts, just in case it is actually 12 volts, then I'll ruin the compressor. So I borrowed a variable voltage power source from an engineer friend. I'm going to disassemble the seat again to open it up so I can monitor the compressor while I gradually increase the voltage, and see how the compressor works, if it heats up, all that kind of stuff. So I'll probably do that quite shortly, but the actual getting this properly fixed in place, that's going to take a little while. So that's the news on the seat.
And of course there's plenty of other stuff I can get done while I'm waiting to be able to get that swivel. But I'll leave it there for now. See you on the next one.